Happy Africa Day and welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful day, and I'm in Jamaica, but from what I'm seeing happening over there in Toronto, it's beautiful under bright blue skies. And we're celebrating Africa Day, May 25. The African continent itself is celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, and its successor, the African Union. It was on this date in 1963 that 32 heads of state, or rather heads of independent African states, met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, along with leaders from African liberation movement to craft a way forward for Africa's complete independence from imperialism, colonialism, and apartheid. And today we have a special flag raising ceremony to mark the occasion. And joining us from Toronto, Canada, we have Mr. Garfield Frey. Garfield, tell us what's
Hey,
happening on your side. It's a
hey,
beautiful morning. I can
yes,
see from what's happening in the background.
absolutely. Very cool in Toronto, downtown Toronto. We're at Queen's Park. And with us on the line as various dignitaries are here, including Dr. Kalu. We have Nana, who is online. He's the head of programs at AU. They're about taking photographs right now with various dignitaries on the other side. In a moment, the service will be commencing. But I think for now, we could bring in Nana and you could get some further details from him about the
Mhm.
various.
Right. So, Nana Osei, we welcome you to our live broadcast. Nana,
Thank
you're
you.
head of programs with the African Union. Share with us, first of all, for those who are not so au fait with the terms of the African Union and why it exists.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes, I'm the head of programs for the African Union Economic, Social, and Cultural Council, ECOSOC, which is one of the institutions that make up the African Union as an institution. So it's very important for us to be here today because we are able to touch base with the African community, particularly those from the various African embassies and diplomatic missions here, and also brothers and sisters from the Caribbean community as well, to celebrate Africa Day 2023, which is a very important day in the calendar of the African Union. It is the day that commemorates the establishment of the Organization for African Unity, which is the predecessor institution to the African Union. So on 25th May 1963 is when the OAU was set up with a specific mandate to decolonize and liberate the continent of Africa from the burden of colonialism. And so this is the day that we see as the founding of the continent as we know it today. And we want to make sure that we commemorate it to appreciate, the blood that was shed and the sweat and the tears and the toil of our forefathers who fought in order to establish the continent on the footing that it is on right now, and to make sure that we do not forget. And we use this opportunity to really establish our solidarity alongside African people wherever they may be. And so we are very happy that we've been able to liaise with the African Union 6th Region Canada, which is the African Union Diaspora Network here in Canada, alongside our partners at the Ontario Provincial Parliament, to do this special flag raising ceremony to really raise the profile of the African Union here within the Toronto area and within Canada as a whole.
Mhm. What is your reaction to the fact that so many dignitaries are coming out today to recognize the flag raising ceremony marking this special milestone?
I think it's a wonderful thing to see. It's a wonderful thing to see. We've been here interacting with the various leaders of the diplomatic missions from Africa, from the Caribbean, and elsewhere. And I think it really shows the solidarity that exists between people of African descent globally, wherever they may be. I think what we want to do as a union is to ensure that the agenda of Africa and Africans, no matter where they are, always remains at the forefront of discussion here in Canada, in the US, at the UN, no matter where it is, to make sure that we are always, convening all of us, all of the expertise, the networks that we have as people of African descent, wherever we may be, and celebrating that as a sign of our unity, as a sign of our harmony, and to make sure that we are working sort of following the same hymn sheets, so to speak.
And I can't help but ask, do you find that there's a marked difference between how the message that you carry and the hope that you bring as the African Union? Is there a difference between how this is received by persons on the mainland, on the continent, and persons in the diaspora of African descent?
I think the consciousness, remains similar, on the continent, in the mainland, and here in the diaspora. Obviously, the experiences are a little bit different sometimes because the experiences of the diaspora, of brothers and sisters in the various diasporic communities are not necessarily the same as the experiences of those of us back on the continent. However, I think in terms of the direction that we want for our continent and for our people, we are sort of working in the same direction.
All right. Thank you so much. And if there's one message, if there's one thing that you want people to hold in their minds about today, what would that thing be? What would that memory of the 25th of May 2023 be that you want implanted in the minds of everybody?
I think the main message is that we should not take for granted the freedom that we have. This is a freedom that was paid for by generations before us, and so we want to make sure that we always appreciate the freedom that has been won for us by our forefathers, and make sure that we are always celebrating and venerating our identity as Africans, no matter where we are.
All right. We want to thank you so much for sharing with us. We have Nana Osei, our special guest, and Nana is head of programs with the African Union, and it's just an awesome experience to be sharing with these leaders as we continue on the mission at hand. Garfield Frey, Operation Land of My Birth. Garfield is also on location in Toronto. Yes, Garfield, just bring us up to date on what's happening on that side as we speak.
Okay, awesome. So as we speak, the ceremony is about to begin. Dr. Kalu has taken the podium and is speaking. We're going to ask Brother Marlon to bring us onto that.
Be a part of this ceremony and celebration today, as we remember our forefathers who have been before us. Great Emperor Haile Selassie and
okay, there you go.
So Kwame Nkrumah and
the
so
ceremony
many other great
has
leaders
begun, and that's Dr. Kalu that is moderating. He is the brainchild behind the 6th region. As we said before, Canada, the African continent has 5 regions, and he has worked tirelessly over several decades, contributing to the formation of the African Union, as well as, and specifically to the 6th region that is becoming a legally binding part of Africa.
All right, so let's see if we can catch some of his message as he presents.
Awesome.
Before I call the speaker, who will be the Honorable Speaker Ted Arnott, I just want to quickly read the message that we have for today, and then we can take it from there as the speaker will come in and do what needs to be done. Okay, and so we are very grateful that we also have, Her Excellency the Ambassador of the African Union to the United States from Washington, and so we're very honored to have you here today. And we also have the head from the African Union, the organ of ECOSOC Commission, and also we have, that's Khalid, and we also have my boss, Bennett from the CIDO, Citizenship and Diaspora Directorate, and we also, I think, Nana, okay, we have the head of programming from the ECOSOC as well, and so we have a huge delegation from the continent that came in just for this event. So we're very grateful and we are honored. And I also have my colleagues from Europe, that are here, Alex, and from Australia, all the way from Australia, he's here also, representing the Oceanic region. Dr. John is here as well. And so we're very happy. And we have the representative from the Caribbean, representative, Mr. Steve, all the way from Barbados. So it's a very serious event for us, and we have a lot of people flying from all over the place. And so we are happy that you are here today to honor this event. The special message, and once again, my name is Macaulay Kalu, the chairman of the African Union 6th region here in Canada. And so I welcome you all today. So why didn't you put a smile and look at the person and say, I'm looking good this day. I'm looking good. Look at the person next to you. Say, I'm looking good. And put your hands together for yourself for making it here today. Yeah, you're looking good. You're all looking good. But one of the part that I like is tell the person next to you that I look better than you. I just look better than you. As you know, they're not like you. You can't compete. Yeah. That's the thing. Okay, so a quick message. It is with extreme pleasure that I greet you all on this day, the 60th anniversary of the African Union and the 11th anniversary of the Declaration of the African Union 6th region. To our honored guests, community leaders, and everyone present, I welcome you on behalf of the African Union 6th region Canada team, the team who has been working tirelessly to bring us this event to life. As we gaze ahead to the future of the African Union, let us heed the wisdom of the sarcophagus and look back at the people, policies, and practices that have brought us to this milestone. First, we must give due accolades to our forefathers, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, Excellencies Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, and all of the visionaries who signed the charter creating the Organization of African Unity in 1963. Next, there are so many policies that have been critical to the success of our organization. I want to highlight the adoption of the Common African Position in February 2021. This policy called for the eradication of all the impediments to the total and equal participation of women in the matters that affect our daily lives. It also promotes the end to gender-based violence and the empowerment of the African woman and the girl child. Finally, this annual commemorative flag-raising ceremony is a practice that should never be taken lightly. Similar to the yearly Passover celebration of the Hebrews, this event should be held for generations to come. It is my hope that the number of attendees continue to grow, and when our children's children ask why we do this, we are able to inspire them to take the baton upon the African unity. So, what does the future hold for the African Union? What does it require for us as Africans on the continent and in the diaspora? Though we must be concerned about the wars and the conflicts that continue across the continent, the future of Africa is certainly bright. With the accelerated push to trade and economic development under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we are seeing greater dialogue among African leaders. We are also witnessing the birth of organizations such as the African Women Trade, led by Kenyan Joy Zenz. This global network of women is moving fearlessly to achieve economic stability to their families and communities. To propel Africa to even greater heights requires us to utilize technology, the expertise and skills of all who are willing to contribute to the development of the motherland. Companies such as 1 Million Teachers, co-founded by Nigerian-born Hakeem Suber, who is one such example. With his team of passionate educators, Suber is on mission to upgrade the skills of African teachers who can in turn motivate the students. In the arena of healthcare, we can glean from the example of Diaspora Care by CEO Jote Tadesi of Ethiopian ancestry. Diaspora Care supports diasporans who want to ensure the adequate medical treatment in readily available for their loved ones at home. These are just a few examples of how we can galvanize our efforts and expertise to the good of all African people. We must also embrace novel ways to attract and engage the youth in our determination to thrive as one African people. The recent development of the Community app by a team under the leadership of Jamaican-born Garfield Fred is one tool that can facilitate such interest. More opportunities for internship and leadership training must be designed for the youngest members of the African Union. Consequently, when we are ready to pass the mantle of leadership to our sons and daughters, they should be equipped, enthusiastic to take the helm of and blaze the new trails for the betterment of Africans across the globe. As we commemorate the 60th anniversary of the African Union and the 11th anniversary of the 6th region, let us rejoice in what we have already brought to fruition as a people. This is indeed a critical part of the progress in any movement. We must make time to celebrate the successes. We must acknowledge our achievements. Once the festivities have ended, however, we need to remain fervent because there is still much to be done. The revival of the ECOSOC mandate provides new options for diasporans to contribute to the African progress. The beginning of 2024 will usher in the end of the United Nations decade of people of African descent. Wherever we are in the 6th region, it is time for us to be counted among the individuals who are committed to the advancement of Africa. We stand together 60 years from the day our forefathers gathered and call to action is very much the same. In the words of His Excellency William Tubman, never before has the unity of the action been more desirable and urgent. Never before have independent nations faced such a challenging and splendid opportunity for concerted action. Never before have our problems been graver and our needs more crucial. With the unwavering support of the 6th region, Africans leaders can stand tall and govern with courage and confidence. Let us all make this a memorable Global Africa Day. God bless Africa and God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At this time, I want to welcome the Honorable Ted Arnott, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. Let him bring his greetings and make an opening remark. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kalu and Consuls General, members of Provincial Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests. Bonjour et bienvenue. Good afternoon and welcome on this glorious day. It is my great pleasure as Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of the Province of Ontario to join you today as we celebrate Global Africa Day and raise the flag of the African Union here at Queen's Park. I know that I speak for all 124 members of Provincial Parliament when I say we're delighted to have you here at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario, our seat of government and the majestic symbol of parliamentary democracy in our province. I want to also acknowledge that we're meeting on lands traditionally inhabited by Indigenous peoples. We pay our respects to the many Indigenous nations who've gathered here and continue to gather here, including the Mississaugas of the Credit. Each year on May the 25th, we mark Global Africa Day to commemorate the 1963 founding of the Organization of African Unity, now known as the African Union. I'm pleased to mark the anniversary of this important occasion with you. Together, we can share in celebrating African culture and history. This day is an excellent opportunity to recognize the accomplishments of Canadians of African descent. We are very proud of the many diverse African Canadian communities here in Ontario, and I want to acknowledge their important contributions to the province. Diversity has been and remains one of Ontario's great strengths. La diversité était et demeure des grandes forces de l'Ontario. Et aujourd'hui, c'est un grand privilège pour moi d'être ici avec vous. So again today, we recognize and celebrate the important contributions that African Canadians have made to Ontario. We're grateful for all that you've done and all that you continue to do to strengthen our beloved province. Now, it's my honor to call forward one of the principal organizers of today's event, Dr. Barbara Stewart, to present a certificate in recognition of this special day. Dr. Stewart. And it reads as follows. In celebration of Global Africa Day and the 60th anniversary of the African Union, It is my great pleasure on behalf of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario to send you our heartfelt congratulations for this important occasion. Thank you and happy Global Africa Day. Thank you very much.
We have to clap again, guys. It's the movers and shakers. Woo!
Why don't you put your hands together one more time for the Speaker of the House for that wonderful remarks that we just received. And at this time, we will be welcoming remarks from Her Excellency Hilda Suka Mafudza, the African Union Ambassador to the United States, who will be bringing official greetings and welcome from the African Union. Please put your hands together for Her Excellency Ambassador.
Thank you, Carl. And greetings to you all. I feel so humbled to be here in Canada, which is my first time, and to be able to be doing this kind of a thing.
Welcome, welcome.
I really thank you so much for this invitation, which is very meaning, and which all of us have that whole heart to say this should happen for our continent of Africa. And us who are here in the diaspora should also engage our continent and develop that interest. Let me read what I have prepared for you for this special day. Let me begin by saluting H.E. Dr. Onyekash Makali or Kalu, Chairman of the African Union, 6th Region, Canada. Let me also recognize the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, say, and all members of the Ontario Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, sisters, brothers, and friends of Africa here present. It gives me great pleasure to be here among you this afternoon, and I greet you on this joyful and auspicious occasion on behalf of His Excellency Mustafa Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission. As together we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the establishment of our premier multilateral intercontinental organization, the Organization of African Union Unity, and now the African Union. I think all of us know that we've come from OAU. Now we are African Union. Yes. And we pay tribute to our founding fathers and those who, in the dawn of the 20th century, initiated this remarkable Pan-African journey we are in today. On this special day, that marks the May 25th, 1963 founding of the Organization of African Unity, the celebration of Africa Day 2023 in Toronto, Canada, through this special ceremony is a testimony of the commitment of H.E. Dr. Onyekash Makali, my dear brother here, Chairman of the African Union, 6th Region of Canada.
Yes.
The hospitality of our host for the African cause is legendary, let me put it that way. And we have had more than ample evidence on this weekend, which we can get in contact and make a difference amongst ourselves. I would therefore like to thank you for giving us the spirited atmosphere of a home away from home. That provides an excellent working environment for the important task before us. Our celebration of Africa Day here in Toronto with all of you is a moment that we cherish. It is a moment of celebration, but also of connecting the past to the present and reflecting on the exalting journey. It has been 60 years since the decolonization of Africa began in earnest, and more than 30 years since the independence of majority of countries in Africa was achieved. At the time, leaders like the late Osayefo Kwame Nkrumah had declared with such high hopes that independent Africa will be a paradise.
Yes.
We're supposed to work on that paradise.
Yes.
We have to work on that paradise of Africa. And he was not alone in his optimism. Indeed, the founding fathers of the Organization of African Unity, in framing the charter, were mindful of the necessity of creating a propitious environment for peace and development on the continent to provide our peoples with a better quality of life. Our gathering here is the evidence of our dedication and the commitment to these goals. It is a clear indication that we want to take effective control of our destiny in the 21st century.
Yes.
Isn't that what we are working on?
Yes.
Yes. And proceed to build a new Africa in clear, precise, and scientific ways. This implies a readiness to take stock of our activities and measure progress so that we can harness experience and rectify errors to ensure that we have an appropriate roadmap for African renaissance.
Yes.
I see my responsibilities at this point in time as a bridge of opportunity to help advance mutually beneficial strategic partnerships that will, in a stronger and respectful geopolitical alliance between you, the diasporans here, Africa, the Canadian people, the United States, reflect the importance our union attaches to speed up the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area and the fast track the overall economic integration agenda of the continent. I think you've heard I talked about the Agenda 2063. And the African Continental Free Trade Area is one of the flagships of the Agenda 2063, which we are putting together and making sure economically by 2030, Africa will unveil and be a better Africa and have the freedom of our children. And if I'm talking of a protocol of a people's movement from one corner to another, we are really yearning to be borderless and run businesses amongst ourselves.
Yes.
Yes. We all know at some point in time we were one. From the top of Africa to the bottom of Africa, we were one. And we are saying it is whatever it is today, but we should make a difference and enrich ourselves in ensuring we do this business together. We do this trade integration of the regions, 5 of them which are on the continent today. And they say among ourselves, one day we will certainly come up with a monetary policy that will be an African monetary policy.
Amen.
Let me say Africa is a rapidly growing population, and by 2063, the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Organization of African Unity.
And so we are going to, and so we're seeing a number of persons who are reacting to the fact that we are now live inside our app, the community app. And I see Marsha saying we're streaming live, wonderful moment in history. And Raja giving a thumbs up, saying excellent. Nicole says history in the making. And Marsha is saying it's an exciting moment in history. An exciting moment indeed. And what better day to happen than on Africa Day 2023. So we hope to get the, let's see, we will be able to recover our feed main form taking place to bring you up to date. And we see African Union will work at Toronto's Queen Park. It says, and we want to get the full report. So it says here the African Unity 6th regional Canada Fund partnership ceremony being held at Queen's Park comprises 55 member states representing the joint among African states. The sentiments of the people of African descent and their significant contributions to fostering unity and advance this year 190th of that is indeed significant. Held, paraphrasing now because this was written with followed by reception until Ontario all people of African descent living outside the continent, including the Caribbean, the official 6th region of the African continent. And I'm sure as you spend more time with here on India, you get to understand even more about that. In Canada, the grassroots non-profit organization OpenLMB was created in the International Decade 2015 to 2024 of African descent, recognition, justice, and the OLMB's a virtual global community of people of African descent with a goal of increased cooperation to create community transformation through economic empowerment, development. So we are here, and that's why we are bringing you this live stream today. Partnering with the AU's XRC, OLMB will live stream the flag raising ceremony exclusively on their mobile app, Community Social Plus TV, available in the app stores for download. So have friends who want to participate, who want to watch what's happening, then go ahead and invite them to download the app so that they too can be a part of this community. Flag raising ceremony allows the African diaspora to celebrate African heritage and strengthen ties with the African continent. There will be representation from the African, Caribbean, Central, and South American Diplomatic Corps, in addition to community and corporates. And now we're seeing being raised, and it's wow. What point?
together and celebrate this special day. 60 years. And now we're going to call the Mrs. Priscilla Aldo for the Canadian National Anthem.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. Again, I go by the name of Priscilla. I actually come from Ghanaian heritage, so it's amazing to see this beautiful ceremony be part of this, and I'm here to sing O Canada for you. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us commend. Cata bronce por telepea, il se porte la croix. Ton histoire est toute épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Priscilla Ado, for that rendition. We appreciate that. You may be seated for those who could see. And at this time, quickly, we want to call some members of the provincial parliament representing our various political parties in the province. At this point, I want to call David Smith, the MPP Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I can't hear you guys. I hear like sprinkles of clap. This is a rejoicing day, so we should put our hands together. Bring that energy up, please. I would like to thank the chairman, AU6RC, and policy advisor of the Americas, Dr. Macaulay Kula, the African Union, and the Economic Social Culture Council, in conjunction with the African Union 6th Region Canada Foundation, for inviting me here today at this flag-raising ceremony. On this historic occasion of Global Africa Day, the 60th anniversary celebration of African Union. Today, along with the 55 member country of African Union, we showcase major success, milestone challenges, and the way forward under the agenda of 2063. Just last week, we were fortunate to have hosted a Nigerian delegation of 50 municipal leaders right here at Queen's Park. This experience allowed us to advance trade, acknowledge, and share best practices with those who are in influential leadership role. On behalf of all PC Caucus of Ontario, I want to wish everyone a successful day of celebration of the 60th year of African Union. Thank you very much. While being at the podium, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues, both from the NDP and the Liberal Party, um, Sarah Jama from the New Democratic Party, and Adil Damji, Liberal Party of Ontario. These are my colleagues that I sit in the assembly with, and to recognize the great speaker of ours. We all say we love him, and he knows that, so we don't have to extend that anymore. He's always with a smiling face, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank the delegates that came from just about everywhere. As you heard Mr. Dr. McCauley did mention, it's something that I don't know the whole history of all of it, but I can tell you it's good to be part of it, and wherever we can give support and help, we are happy to do that at this place we call our house. At this moment, I'd like to present a scroll from the Premier of Ontario to, I think it's Dr. Barbara. And we are doing great things, but it's not a political arena, so we're going to keep, even though the ambassadors spoke quite eloquently about some of the things that are happening in that region. I really love it, and I need to speak to you a little bit more about some of those things. Global Africa Day, African Union 6th Region, Canada, May 25th. Warm greetings to everyone taking part in the flag-raising ceremony to celebrate Global Africa Day. I want to thank the African Union 6th Region, Canada, and distinguished members of our Pan-Africa community for attending this special occasion. Our province is proud to be home to many Ontarians with African roots who have contributed their talent and skills to help build strong communities in this great province and country. This year marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the African Union. Congratulations on this significant milestone, and thank you for everything you have done over decades to support peace, harmony, prosperity in Africa and around the world. Best wishes for a memorable celebration. Thank you.
Please, one more time, put your hands together for Honorable David Smith, the MPP Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario. And at this point, we're going to call Sarah Jama, the MPP New Democratic Party of Ontario, for her wonderful remarks.
Hi everyone, my name's Hi. I don't think y'all are loud enough. How are you feeling today? All right, that's what I like to hear. My name is Sarah Jama, and I'm really honored to be here. I'm your MPP from Hamilton Centre, and I'm here on behalf of the official opposition for the New Democratic Party. One thing y'all might not recognize is I'm also the first Somali woman elected in all of Canada. So I'm especially honored to be here today. To speak with you all about the African Union and how important this is and how honored I am to see that we're gathering. I know that it's been a couple years, I've heard, since we've been able to do this because of COVID. So it's really great that we're gathered here today. Some of what I wanted to talk about was this. I know I'll keep it brief, but I know that many people who are named and unnamed have lived and then died with the idea and with the hope that the African Union would exist. And today we're here. Today we're here speaking with the next generation of Africans on this continent and across the world who believe that Africa is the best continent and the most beautiful continent in the world, that we can stand on our own 2 feet. You know, colonialism will tell us that, colonialism it will cut your feet off in front of you and then tell you, oh, why can't you stand on your own 2 feet? But we know why. We know that it's taken so long and so many years for people across the world who are African, the diaspora, and for people on the African continent to be able to connect and to grow, because forces continue to say that it's not possible. But we know that we can build our own transit, that we can build our own infrastructures, that we can stand on our own 2 feet. And I say we because, as I said, I'm a first generation Somali. So as a Somali, I'm really happy to be here. And as a representative of the official opposition, I'm really happy to be here on behalf of Marit Stiles, who has a scroll here. And I'll read it. 1 second. It reads, on behalf of His Majesty, the Loyal's official opposition, I would like to extend congratulations and best wishes to the African Union 6th Region, Canada, on the occasion of Global Africa Day. And I would like to present this to the principal organizer, Dr. Stewart, I believe. Thank you. See everyone upstairs.
Thank you.
Why don't you put your hands together one more time for Sarah Jama, the MPP, New Democratic Party of Ontario. At this time, I want to call on Adil Shamji, the MPP Liberal Party of Ontario, to give his remarks.
Distinguished guests, Your Excellency, Consuls General, and friends. On behalf of the Ontario Liberal Party, it is such an incredible honor to stand with you today in commemorating the 10th anniversary of the African Union 6th Region Declaration and the 60th anniversary of the African Union. And this is something of profound significance to me personally because I myself have deep connections with Africa. I was born here in Canada, but my father was born in Uganda. My mother was born in Tanzania. My wife was born in Vancouver, but she grew up in Kenya. Our roots and connection are so deep that my wife and I returned to Kenya to get married. But we live here now. The takeaway from this is that the traditional 5 regions of Africa, North, South, East, West, and Central, didn't feel like they had room for us. But this 6th region, representing the African diaspora, does. And so I thank you for that. And so today, we commemorate that 10th anniversary of the 6th Region Declaration, the 60th anniversary of the African Union. And I want to take a moment to explain, from my perspective, why the efforts of the African Union and the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council are so important. Once upon a time, during the Cold War, we used to divide our planet into worlds. And I'm sure many of you know this. The first world consisted of the Western NATO-aligned countries. The second world were the Eastern communist-aligned countries. And the rest, including those countries in Africa, were the third world, a metaphorical afterthought, sometimes looked down upon and frequently forgotten. What a way to refer to a continent that is very literally the cradle of humankind, of our very species. In my mind, the African Union is the living proof of how wrong that thinking was and what that thinking should be instead. And this is embodied in the vision of the African Union, a vision for an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. And in myriad ways, this vision is already being realized. Africa is a dynamic force in the global arena, a continent with rapidly increasing prosperity, well-being, hope, and inspiration to us all. A continent with limitless potential and which already has so many lessons to share with us. I think of, for example, the drone delivery of blood products in healthcare to rural areas in Rwanda. I think of M-Pesa, the Kenyan mobile phone-based money transfer service that has revolutionized how people pay for things and transfer funds. And you know what? Here in Canada, we don't have anything that rivals either of those two things. I think of the brotherhood and sisterhood of this very special union, a sense of family so strong that it even has a place for me. And so today, we mark Global Africa Day, and I congratulate you and I welcome you to Queen's Park. And Dr. Stewart, if I may, it would be my honor to present to you this scroll on behalf of the Ontario Liberal Party. And it reads, on this occasion, we reflect on the history and contributions of Africans in the continent and here in Canada who have advanced cooperation and cultural exchanges between both regions. This ceremony, today's ceremony, is a fitting tribute to the rich history and heritage of Africa. It is a wonderful way to celebrate the friendship between Canada and African countries. Dr. Stewart, thank you so very much.
Please put your hands together one more time for one of our special 6th Region Diasporan, who is a member of the MPP for Liberal Party of Ontario. Now, at this time, we have we're supposed to have the readings and the greeting from Mike Schreiner, the MPP for Green Party of Ontario, who is unavoidably absent, and he has also graciously provided the message and the certificate for this auspicious day. Mike Schreiner, MPP, Gulf, extends sincere congratulations to the African Union 6th Region Canada on the occasion of the Africa Day. As a member of the Provincial Parliament of Gulf, the people of Ontario and I join you, your family, and friends to celebrate with you on this day filled with national pride, history, and commemoration. Mike Schreiner, member of Provincial Parliament, Guelph, May 25th, 2023. So against Barbara, so I'll be representing him, and I'll be the one to issue. So quickly, I'm going to call Mr. Nana Osei to give some closing comments. And just to remind you that as we're about to finish this, there will be a photo ops with all the dignitaries and members of Parliament. And we have the reception and ceremony that will be happening inside the building. And so if you've not been able to get your name tags and all that, if you're registered, please, immediately after the section, please do be kind enough to go to the security department and be able to receive your name tags so that you can join us inside for the celebration and the reception. Now I want to welcome Mr. Nana Osei. Please put your hands together for me.
Thank you very much. Mine is really a very brief responsibility, which is to convey our thanks and appreciation on behalf of the African Union. For me, it's always a very proud day for us to be able to do this. I am African, but I'm also Canadian. And so it's very important for me that we are able to do this event in this place. It really shows the openness that we all celebrate in this country. I think it's something that we realize within the African Union. I know that there are conversations happening at the level of the chairperson of the African Union to establish a strategic partnership between Canada and the AU. And this is something that we are all working very hard to support. So it's really just to thank all of you, particularly our friends from the AU6, who work very hard every year to put this event together. We haven't been able to come here the last couple of years because of COVID, but we've been very happy that we are able to resume this process. The African diaspora is something that is very key to the essence of the African Union. When we define Africans, we do not limit that definition to those who are living on the continent. I think the Honorable MP has just referred to the 6th region, which is something that we take very seriously. In my institution, my organ, which is the African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council, we are actually working at the moment to create space for representatives from African diaspora, civil society organizations to actually come and sit with us within the African Union and be part of the decision-making and the shaping of the direction of the African Union. I would like to, in conclusion, really thank the Ontario Legislative Assembly for just being so gracious and hospitable and making this possible every time that we make this request. This is something that we absolutely appreciate, and we hope that we are able to build this relationship and make it stronger as we go forward. Thank you so much.
And so, like I mentioned earlier, so this is just the first part of the celebration. And so we'll be going inside to room 228 and 230 for the reception and also other remarks that will be coming immediately after this. So please feel free to network. And once again, please kindly go and receive your name tags if you've not done that from the security at the other side. And I think which direction are we going in from to go? So this is, so there's going to be a group photo. We call our African Union guests to please join with the photo up with the members of parliament. Let's do that quickly and then we'll be able to go up. So if you are from the African Union delegation, please, we want you to come up and join the photo.
So can we have the delegation first and then the group photo after, please?
Anyway.
Can we have members of the delegation first and then the group photo?
Okay. How was it? How was your time? Here you go. I'm doing well.
And what an awesome experience. The official flag raising ceremony on after what's happening on the outside. You know, it's pretty interesting to see everyone socializing and you know, taking advantage of the photo opportunity, because it's something to remember on this special day. All right, to try and have a little talk with some of the representatives, some of the persons represented here. But at this point, as you can see, they are all gathered, taking pictures and sharing their experiences and their excitement about today's Africa Day exercises. Yes. Live in our community app here, and it is another historic moment. Okay, so I think Garfield is in position now, and let's see what's happening on that side. Sir Garfield, what is happening right now? First of all, what's happening in your heart on a day like today, witnessing all of this?
Thanks, Arnold. It's a historic moment, and it's overwhelming in one sense to be a part of history. 60 years of decolonizing Africa And the ceremony has gone on longer than expected. I guess the enthusiasm, the passion of the speakers, and so we're just about doing formal interviews or interviews with the formal press team. We do have various media houses present at this point. They are interviewing Nana Osei, who you met with earlier and spoke to. He is the head of programs at the African Union. They will be interviewing myself included in a line of about 4 of the dignitaries for the formal media. At this point, they're also making their way upstairs to the reception area in Queen's Park. Queen's Park is the official residence for the host in sitting and the various government ministers, etc. So they're just going to be going back through security to head upstairs. So there'll be a transition point, and then we'll rejoin you from the reception area. We are open to get Dr. Kalu to speak to you as well. And we have our Caribbean counterparts, Barbados, several other represented, Consul General, etc. So the reception is going to continue upstairs, where we'll be hearing more. Okay, with me is Dr. Kalu, and Arnold, I'm going to hand you over to him directly, and you're going to speak into this.
Okay.
Arnold, are you there?
Hi, Arnold. How are you doing? I'm glad you were able to join us live, and so we're very happy and grateful that you were able to get the community to be
Yes.
part of this live. So we're very happy for that. Yeah.
You know, Dr. Kalu, I was asking you when you read today's events.
Okay.
How are you feeling about
Okay.
today's?
Today's event, we're very excited about what is happening. It's a very unique historic day just to have the 60th anniversary of the African Union. It's not easy following whatever you can call the challenges within the continent. And so coming from the Organization of African Unity to the African Union and celebrate its 60th anniversary, it is remarkable. It is very unique. I'm very, very excited that we have the support of the Ontario government for supporting this event. We do also have the Prime Minister support these. And so there is a ceremony going on in Ottawa, especially this evening. They'll be having an event to that. And so we're very happy for what is happening today. It's very remarkable and it's very historic.
All right, there you have it. That's Dr. Kalu, the visionary contributor to formation of the African Union and also the 6th region, which we are excited to be a part of. Now we feel like we really belong.
Thank you so very much. Yes, it is. The 6th region this year is the 11th anniversary of the declaration of the 6th region, which happened in South Africa in May 25th, 2012. And so we're very excited for what is happening, that the diaspora, people of African descent, globally included in the leadership process. And now there is a seat given to us that we're about to occupy within the ECOSOC Assembly, about 20 seats. And so we are happy that we are part of this history that is happening today as people of African descent, making us the 6th region of the continent of Africa.
Wow, wow. Okay, we're going to move on to someone else, and I know you have a pack itinerary. We're going to meet you upstairs, sir, for the reception.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The event was so beautiful, and I really applaud the Canada chapter. This is what we are calling for.
To have a diaspora chapter coming together and working on issues that are happening on the continent, and ensuring what is happening on the continent is also that what you rally behind.
Together with,
No, a part of the media promotion that we had actually had the U.S. media picking up what is happening in Canada. and they're actually asking, what about the chapters in the US? How would you answer that question?
The chapters in the US are working.
Okay, so
and today are fortunate because this is 25 May. They actually did. And from the beginning of the month, we have been doing events.
okay,
Yes.
where are those chapters located? Any
In the-
specific
in the-
areas in the US?
We have the Houston, Minnesota, we have Illinois, we have Memphis, there are so many.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Directly from the ambassador of the AU to the United States, we do have many chapters. We're just getting connected really more as a family.
Yes.
And as I just indicated in an interview with another press, the mobile app is dedicated to the people of African descent globally as we head into the final year of the International Decade of the People of African Descent. Arnold, it's a great feeling to have our own media platform that is coming to connect us globally as a family from the continent to the Caribbean. And with us, any final word as you wrap up? What would you like to leave as a message to our people as we move forward?
What I'm really wanting the diaspora, the sixth region as we call it, to be able to come together, to work together. Togetherness is very important. I think we have grown in our households, mothers telling us, when you come together, you are such a force to reckon with. No one will be able to break you. So I would rally you chapters to come together as a chapter and ensure you also connect with the other chapters. We have chapters even in the Brazil. We have in
Awesome.
Guatemala. We have chapters all over. Let's rally together and work on this thread that has made a difference on the continent today as we speak.
Wow.
Let's not be left behind.
So with all those chapters, we will need to connect to see how we're going to get the mobile app to connect all of these chapters to be more effective as we move forward.
Yes, it actually takes it takes a person who will come sit down and just say, how do I connect these chapters?
Mhm.
This is an idea that I'm giving you. And also look at tourism.
Right.
Africa is endowed. Allow even to come together and put together travels to go to the continent to appreciate motherland.
So, Madam Ambassador, I'm personally holding you accountable to that. I will be contacting your office because we need to get our people. What if at the end of this decade, we really get 1 million Africans on our database that we're able to communicate seamlessly? What would be the power if you're able to sit in your office and address the diaspora in the Americas and beyond? What would that feel like?
The power will be that enormous. And not only the power to me,
right?
The power to the diasporians themselves, because you are not going to be left out on the development that is taking place on the continent as we speak. I mean, in terms of that integration that we are talking about, that we are integrating the regions up to the continent, and what is happening there, everyone has a right who is in the diaspora to be part of that development. Talk of trade.
Wow, there you go. So what we're getting here is the power of the AU ambassador to the US saying that the metaverse that we talk about is nearer of a reality of the global people of African descent. We want to thank you so much for your time. We know you're heading up to the reception. And once again, thanks for taking the time to be in Canada with us.
Let me thank you, Canadians. You are very smart in the coming together with your chapter. Has made me think others have to do the same. There are places where we're still establishing chapters. Thank you, Canadians.
Wow, awesome. But we want to know about those places and we look forward to working with you.
Sure.
God bless
here
you
with
and
me.
God bless our people.
Thank you. I bless you all, Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you. There you have it, Arnold, live from Queen's Park, the ambassador of the AU to the United States. And we have confirmed that there are multiple chapters in the United States, and we look forward to connecting with them as we move forward. Yeah, we're just going to sign off at this point down here, and then we're going to meet you upstairs in the reception area.
Hi, community. Thank you again for joining us live on this auspicious day. where we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the African Union, the 6th anniversary of the 6th region, and the official launch of Community Social Plus TV. Now we're going to go ahead and rejoin with the second segment of our program, where we will have speeches from various dignitaries, and we're about to go live. Thanks again for joining as we go live.
I wish the next time I go to heaven, I'm going to say, God, something's wrong here. This is the gift I wanted. All right, but here is Priscilla. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here again with everybody. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to be singing Lift Every Voice. You may be familiar with it, so if you know it, then you can just join along.
Yes, please, guys.
So amazing. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoices rise high as the listening skies. Let us resound loud as the roaring sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us go on till victory has won. Thank you, Doctor.
Tina Turner is gone.
Seems clear, Marlon.
Yes, thank you very much for this invitation here in Canada. We're not hearing us say, we also share with the chairperson of the African Union that we saw this, we met the sixth region and the Canada chapter. There's nothing as good as being organized, coming together for.
So she's the U.S. ambassador to the African Union.
Of the OAU, today the African Union. Let's say you can talk of siblings. I'm not talking of children. I have children, so I'm talking with my children, and I want them to follow this. I hate you talking about this raising of the flag. It has to continue from generation to generation. It's a mark of what is put together by our forefathers in the to say we have to learn to unite. We've got to learn to come together in the build on this African Union with the motherland is the best. And we cannot be found wanting especially if we're Africans. We have to come together and be together to do it. Right now, the issue that is on the table is about trade. We have really fought for decolonization. And then we have fought for political freedom. Politics, yes, it's there, but that doesn't build our stomachs. It comes together with other things for us to be fed. And what is it we have to get into trade? You are here, I think you are thinking deeply. There must be a lot of things that you are thinking of. To be on the ground, to work on the ground, to be, to allow yourselves to grow businesses. I know we grew up thinking businesses are run by big corporations. Why can't we run the big corporation? It's a matter of coming together with like-minded. Let me just leave you this word to say. If there are any exciting times in the time for African Union, it is now. And as I said in one of the speech that I made earlier, I said we have to seize the moment. And the time is now for us to rally behind and for us to do business. Let's come together, those different people that know that this is the kind of business that I want to go with. And they come together with those who are like-minded. And they build on something that when you knock your door on the continent door, you are received because also the policy frameworks have been laid on the ground for the continent. And then who are the players? The players are you. You are the people who should go and do what has to be done. And who complements is the FDI, the people who want to work with us, the people who have the interest for Africa, and the people who will come because they will find you organized. Is the reason we are saying we run with Agenda 2063. And what are we talking about when we're talking of business? We're talking of AFCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area, which is tasked with this integration and to say Africa is open for business. I leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know what I think Africa's biggest resource is? People. The people of Africa. And guess what? The young people. What I learned is that 70% of the African population is below 30 years old. So that's our strongest resource. I'd like to now call on my new friend, Betty Mupenda, who is the Acting Director for Citizens and Diaspora Organizations. And Betty, I know we talked about it. You could be my daughter, so I'm so proud of you. There are so many powerful Black women in Africa and in the diaspora that we just want to bring you up as just one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you enjoy your sandwich. And I would say, in Africa, we have several languages, apart from the official language that our colonizers have been giving us or impose us to talk about it. I would like to say Abarienu, which means how are you? I would like to extend my gratitude for all the organizers of this event, and this moment it's really given me that's the kind of feeling you want to have all the time. And when we talk about the African Union, it's also sad that a lot of us, including me, if I could say 10 years ago or 11 years ago, I could not know about African Union. And yet, this is our organization. So I would like to please every one of you, please learn the organization. Learn how African Union, what is African Union, what African Union does. Because you can also be part of the development, part of the history that we are talking about. And then you can also say that this is the legacy. Even though I was living abroad in Canada or in Toronto or in America, but I have a legacy back home in the motherland. Yes. So I really, just like Ambassador Ida said,
Yes.
have interest about your organization. This is the only organization you have that is functional, that they meet twice in the year. Is very special, African Union. Despite that, there is up and down as any other organization that 55 countries come together. Forget even if it was 2 countries or 2 people, there will be always have some conflict, misunderstanding here and there. But now 55 people come together. So there's always, because the reason why I'm talking about, there are people who will say, oh, our institutions don't do what we are supposed, what we will love to see them do. But there's a lot in the continent that African Union does. So I will really ask you to learn. The website is there. My brother Carl also is there. Whenever you want to learn more, and we will work together on history to educate the future generation what exactly is the African Union, how the member states work, how the functional, the understanding of the union itself is very important. So without talking much, I would really appreciate also the 6th region through my brother Carl. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to work, and especially how our diaspora in Canada, they can contribute to social, economic, and development in the continent. Because we need you. We need your skills. In the department where I lead, we have several initiatives. And our foundation is our diaspora, because we need your skills. We need daughters. As I will give an example during the COVID, I saw Cuban original black going to London, and that video at the airport, I didn't see any white person. It was black, Cuban, and African people that came to UK helping during the COVID. You understand? We saw also in the continent. So we want to have that skills back home for the purpose of development. And we need it. And even if we talk about diaspora fund, I know some of you are entrepreneurs. Like Ambassador Ida said, sometimes we need to also to focus on business. All of us here, apart from our usual job, we're also thinking about business. How do we invest back home? And then like my new friends, the young people, we need to invest in the young people because their mindset is different. And that's where also, because entrepreneurs in Africa, the SMEs, they are very important to us because they are bringing not only money, but they are also bringing their skills. So I will really ask diaspora to work with us. Since my brother is here, the head of 6+2 region, representing the African Union here, let's see what the diaspora can do. But I really emphasize on learning the African Union. Please, learn your organization. You'll feel proud about it because there are so many things that you can benefit. Even work, we need also skilled people, competencies like you can come and contribute to the work to Agenda 2063. Because you are diaspora, and despite that you already contribute to Canada, it doesn't mean that you cannot contribute also to the the motherland. So this is what I leave in your door. Please learn about the union and feel proud about the union, because once you learn it, you'll find that I'm really part of the African Union and I want to contribute to the development of the Agenda 2063. I thank you.
Just quickly, I want to thank you. Put your hands together one more time for. No, she's my boss, so we need to clap. Okay. Just quickly, just a few changes that I really appreciate our presiding officer and ECOSOC Khalid Kulabi who will be here in the show. But because also we have some few changes, we have Honorable Henry Mander who will engagement. I would like him to bring his meeting as well as after that Honorable Brenda who wants to also take it. Please, please put your hands together.
I think protocol was already established from before. So I'm sure you will forgive me as I forego the formality of individual salutation and refer to all of you simply as distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the African diaspora. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to participate in this important observance of Africa Day, formerly known to us in the Caribbean as African Liberation Day. And that was particularly in the 1980s when South Africa was still under the cruel apartheid regime, and we observed African Liberation Day every May 25th to call for the dismantling of that wicked system and also the release of prisoners like Nelson Mandela and others who rose from the Pretoria prison to become the president of his nation. Now, I represent, in fact, this is my first order of business and my first official function as the incoming chair of the Caribbean Consular Corps. And my predecessor is here. I would have preferred her to do this as the last responsibility, but she ensured that I did it. I must say that the Caribbean, as part of the 6th region of the African Union, is predominantly African in origin. So that the modern Caribbean as we know it is predominantly African and could not have existed if, our forefathers didn't come to the Caribbean in chains, enslaved, worked the plantations and helped develop our region. So we are very much a part of the African diaspora. And today, we see the struggle in Africa is one for unification and an end to colonial and neo-colonial exploitation. So, whilst our forefathers came to the Caribbean in chains, when Africa was gaining its independence, you had pioneers from the Caribbean, our musical geniuses like Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. They were in Africa promoting the independence movement in Zimbabwe. In fact, Bob Marley has a song, Zimbabwe, Africans Unite. So they were part of the movement. Even our own St. Lucian Nobel laureate, Sir Arthur Lewis, who is the first and only black man who won a Nobel Prize in economics in 1979. During the independence movement, he served as an advisor to several African leaders and prime ministers, including Nyerere in Tanzania, in Ghana, in Kenya, and so on. So the Caribbean sees itself as very much a part of Africa. And that is why we consider Africa to be the breadbasket of the world, and we believe that it deserves to control its own resources and its own destiny. So that there must be an end to the divisions that exist in Africa, and particularly those divisions that are stoked by external forces for the control of resources. And so that is why the African Union is so important, that you can foster that unity so that you will be able to take control of your destiny. Africans and people of African descent in the Caribbean and the Americas have been severely traumatized, disadvantaged, and economically disempowered by slavery, which, according to the United Nations, is the most atrocious crime against humanity in history. However, the perpetrators of that crime and their descendants have not been held accountable. And while the Caribbean community, or CARICOM, has established a reparations committee headed by the former Jamaican Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Percival Patterson, and supported by national committees in all the islands, the demand for reparatory justice is still not being heard and heeded by the former colonial powers. And so, whereas the now King of England has acknowledged that they did something wrong, whereas the head of the Netherlands has acknowledged and said that they're going to have some sort of recompense for Suriname, etc. But generally, Europe has not owned up to its responsibility for slavery and for genocide in the Caribbean and in Africa. So I think it is important for the sixth region of the African Union, Canada, the Caribbean, and everywhere else for us to be united with the other five regions in ensuring that the call for reparatory justice is intensified and builds momentum so that it is listened to, heeded, and acknowledged. It is important that we have that solidarity. Finally, I wish to say that in cementing its ties with Africa, CARICOM, under the leadership of Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, invited or initiated formal relations with the first CARICOM Africa Summit being held on September 7, 2021 in Kenya. And this has set in motion a memorandum of understanding which will cover, among other things, air services, development cooperation, and political solidarity. So this is actually cementing the kind of relationship and the kind of solidarity between Africa and the Caribbean as part of the sixth region. These, brothers and sisters, are the concrete steps being taken by the Caribbean to assert its Africanness and the African empowerment agenda. We urge all members of the African diaspora to unite in solidarity so that we can continue pursuing that agenda.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry that we don't have more time to hear the details from all the delegates, but we do want to give everyone a chance, so if you could really restrict your greetings to just a couple of minutes, we would really appreciate it. But just before I do that, talk about diversity. You talked about it. Do you know how many languages there are spoken in Africa? Anybody take a guess? How many different languages in the continent of Africa? Anyone? Okay, and if you go to Google, it's 2,000. So 2,000 different languages. Or okay, great. So next, Honorary Brenda Foreman. Could you come forward, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Henry Mandel. I echo his sentiments because I will not be greeting anyone individually. I greet you all, brothers and sisters. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for doing this. Again, I am so happy to be involved with the African Union 6th region for quite a number of years, and I hope it continues. On behalf of the Consulate of St. Encinitas in Toronto, it's an honor to extend to the African Union my warmest congratulations on the official African Union flag raising ceremony marking the commemoration of Africa Day 2023. I commend the work of the African Union and the AU Economic, Social, and Cultural Council. You've done a lot to raise the awareness of the Union's commitment to the African diaspora in the context of the 6th Region Declaration and the International Decade for People of African Descent. We're close to the end of this decade, and there's still so much work to be done. I understand that this program of work is designed to rekindle the Pan-Africanist action within the global African diaspora. And I echo the sentiments of the 6th region by encouraging those of us in the diaspora, whether we are in the Caribbean, South America, Asia, it doesn't matter wherever we are, to celebrate our heritage and our ties to Africa and the continent and rise together. I said I'd be brief, but I want to end with my favorite African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Let's rise together. Congratulations again. The work that's
Thank you so much. My husband was here, he would say, don't let Janet take the pictures, you never get the heads. Okay. Next, we will hear from the Honorable Henry Mango. So, he was so good, we want to bring him on twice. Next, it's Lincoln Downer, Consul General of Jamaica. He's not here. He's in the Okay, my favorite friend, my favorite new friend. I thought they were going to save the best for last, but here you are, Khalid Budali, and he is the presiding officer from ECOSOC. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Madam Excellency, Ambassador Zeliu, Excellencies, my dear friend, Acting Director Sido, Mr. Chair of the 6th Region, on behalf of the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council of the African Union, the voice of citizenry, African citizens, we'd like to applaud and commend the work of the 6th Region for the great job we have done over the years until today. I could not supersede whatever Her Excellency and my fellow speakers have said. I think they said it all. But from the citizens' perspective, I have to be honest. Probably what I have to say will not be as music to your ears, but in the country. Since I live in the north of Africa, and I interact a lot with different regions, join civil society. As a matter of fact, I was one of the diaspora. I've been in the US and I studied for 24 years. Then I decided nothing's enough, so it's time for me to go back home and contribute. I find myself with politicians in Africa, that I moved to the civil society, that I can engage with the ECOSOC. It's a long trip. But what is it that we are afraid of? It has to be something that we cannot organize it. Are we capable enough to move forward? as Her Excellency says, do we have what it takes to tell the world that Africans are capable of running themselves? Are we capable of governing ourselves? Are we capable of being the biggest entrepreneurs? Africa is in debt. And I remember one of the African leaders, one of the founding fathers, the latest president of Egypt, Jamal Abdel Nasser, he says, everyone is an ambassador. When you leave home, when you leave your country, you become an ambassador for your faith, for your culture, for your citizens, for your country, for your continent. But what is it that we are over 400 million between migrants and diasporas, including descendants? I'm not able to unify outside the continent. Do you know that we can become the largest lobbying group in the world? That we can defend the interests of our nations, our countries? Automatically that makes you a defender of your continent. Do you know that Africa is in debt? Most countries, they are in debt. But if the diaspora can work together, get mobilized, we can overturn this debt into investment, enforce countries that you live in. Because the longer you are in debt, you become in debt for life. But if you, as a diaspora, can create a force, a lobbying force, in your resident country, let's say in Canada or anywhere else, that will give us leverage. That will give Africa space to breathe. And now it's easy to blame the African Union or blame our leaders in our country. But you don't know. You don't know. And I have to tell you, from the small bureau that I work with my colleagues at the Secretariat, they work 24 hours a day. Last time I traveled with them to New York, when I meet Your Excellency, they woke up at 3 o'clock for meetings, virtual meetings, etc. That's exactly what happened back in the EU. And that's exactly what Her Excellency is doing in her office in Washington. They are working tirelessly, but the diaspora didn't know that. You don't know that. And most of you are blaming the African Union for not reaching out. Well, guess what? We are here. And particularly, I was listening to one of the parliamentarians, and he said that the sixth region, the African Union, has left the diaspora on their own. No, sir. We've been reaching out for years, but we didn't find ears to listen. Now it's falling on you, as I said to my colleagues yesterday, if we can get organized, if we can create that pyramid, as I explained to my brothers and sisters, that we can engage at the national level, at the regional level, at the continental level, and create a body. And I think that Her Excellency will support that, CEDAW will support that, and ECOSOC will definitely support that. We can create the largest force that the world will be afraid of us. That you will hold the capability of moving the world if you want to, if you get unified. It's me, I think I could not supersede what my bosses they have stated. But I remember the late John F. Kennedy says his famous comment, and I will inspire from His Excellency what he has said. This may give you another one. It's not what your continent can do for you. It's what you can do for your continent. God bless you all.
If you were Canadian, I'd be voting for you for the Prime Minister, but I shouldn't say that in this building, right? I think I'm being
politically incorrect. Oh no, I've lost my job. Okay, I'd like to know, Paul, on, we have regrets from Honorable Alvin Curlin, who could not be here, but Steve Reed from the Caribbean Pan-African Network, will be really hear from you. Very, very good. Thank you. Give a hand, please.
Good afternoon. Pleasant greetings to all honorable folk here on this occasion. Today is indeed a happy and proud day for all Africans. We know that celebrations are taking place all over the world. The celebration in honor of this Africa Day. And we from the Caribbean Pan-African Network are grateful to be invited to be part of this celebration in Toronto, Canada. The Caribbean Pan-African Network represents the diaspora 6 regions within the Caribbean. We have our chairman from Barbados, the secretariat in Trinidad and Tobago. We have members from Haiti, from Martinique, from Guyana, Jamaica, certainly Barbados, and we are proud that to date we have made a good impression and developed a good reputation within the African Union and within the Caribbean region. My organization is the Caribbean Rastafari Organization. We sit on the executive of CPAN. The Caribbean Rastafari Organization is an umbrella grouping for Rastafari organizations in the Caribbean. And as part of our mandate, we seek reparations, reparatory justice from former slave-holding territories, colonial powers. We want to work more closely with the African Union to have an agenda where we can see settlement in Africa with honor that would bring resources, human resources to the African continent from the diaspora, working hand in hand to achieve our desired goals of betterment for all of our people. We look forward to working with ECOSOC. We look forward to working with all progressive forces on the African continent and through the diaspora as we seek betterment for all African people. So thank you for
Thank you so much. And one of the things, you know, I always think of Haiti as one of the countries that Haiti is not as recognized for their role that they played as being the first country to really revolt against slavery. And I believe they have paid the price for that throughout the years. But next, we're not here for next, I would like to ask Adet, represented by Alexis Newberg. He's the European president, and as I mentioned to you, I think that's the most suited acronym for this group. Welcome, and let's hear from you. Thank you so much.
So I'm happy to be here. I like microphone. So I'm here, first of all, to say, first of all, thank you. And I say thank you, first of all, to my colleagues, because I'm ruling an organization called African Diaspora Development Platform, while based in Russians. And we have also the honor to be representative of 6 regions. And then I'm happy to have my 2 colleagues here, Canada and Australia, here, this is the reason why I say that is a very good happiness to see that we are acting. And you see, we can, and we do. Thank you, Macaulay, and all the team. Second thing, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first time in my life, I'm almost 60 years old, and that people who are leading organization and the other who are supposing to be acting organization sitting together. And that's the first time, after 60 years, our African Union and the diaspora was sitting yesterday, thinking about how we can progress and to have a place in ECOSOC. That is a good example, and we have to keep it a consultation between all of us, actors and participants. Thank you also for our African Union delegation. Thank you also once again for our ambassador. We have a very bad culture. Our ambassadors, our authorities are coming in the meeting, they are saying their speech, and they leave. You know it. Most of these people, ministers, they come, they speak, and they go. They never heard. They never have time to sit and to listen. But you are seeing our distinguished honors, they are sitting here, listening, the reason you are, I say, yeah. And today, I will not talk 1 minute, I will have time to take 5 minutes. Because of, first of all, to say one thing. I think we are no more in the time for history. History, we learn from history. But the sun is standing all the time, even in the winter. So we have to have only the capacity to look for where the sun is and to do what we have to do now. There is a reason why people, let's stop talking about colonialism. Let's talk about talking about slave situation. Let's see the potentiality that is existing now, and from them do something further. And I believe, and I agree with you, Betty, African Union is our African Union. It is like a child, it is good, it is bad, it is our African Union. So it is what we are. So everyone has to look for in his kitchen, and not to look up in the kitchen of somebody else. There is a reason why I'm talking here from today. Macaulay, where are you? Macaulay and Anthony. From now we talk and we try to grow a renaissance. Diaspora, African renaissance through its diaspora. So we have to develop strategy and Khalid, I listen, they are careful what to say. And I hope that what you say from structure, it is for me in Macaulay and John a new challenge. And we actually will come back to you with a proposal. At the end of the day, people, we have been doing many festivities. It is good to sit and eat together, network. But it is not enough for a world that we are doing now. The world is like a national park. There is lions, there is beautiful, there are small, there are mountains, everything. Big animals, they are eating those small animals. But, ladies and gentlemen, I am not Kenyan, but I have seen how Kikuyus, they are fighting living lions without any violence. And they go and they take the meat from them. Here is very, very important. There is a reason why we have from now to know what is the power of independence. It's economical, it's the money. We have to develop a strategy to come up to the money. And no more looking for the money for somebody else. Your Excellency, you said the truth. We have to look for what we have and bring them together. Only this togetherness, only this conscience, this positive jealousy to bring what I have, what you have together. And I say, in my case, my 2 colleagues, 3 colleagues, shall sit together and develop some together what can be a proposal for you, our boss, and for you, ECOSOC. And at the same time, as a big information for you, we are organized. The sixth region is actually organized. We have a board of steering, we have 3. But this 3 steering committee is divided in 3 regions. Now we have 3 regions. So we have Europe, and you are saying Canada diaspora. I was very all the time upset. It is not Canada, it's America, Pacific, and the Caribbean. That's what he is representing. And he is representing ASEAN, Australia, and all the rest of the world. So we have 6 regions divided in 2 sub-regions. Our duty now is to go on the ground, as you say, and we are proposing you how can we national representative side. And thank you very much for listening, and stay strong, and together we shall achieve.
Thank you so very much, my brother and friend Alexis. As he's a media personality, so he's hosts a TV station in Europe and radio and all that. So, like I say, he loves the microphone. That's why he loves the microphone. So thank you so very much, and it's been wonderful really working with him. As a representative of the 6+2, and of course we are the official representatives of the diaspora, global diaspora, as you mentioned. So I represent the whole of the Americas and the Caribbean, and you represent the whole of Europe, and my brother from the Australia and the Asia Pacific. So we're very happy to be able to join us in doing this. But at this point, we are going to do one of the most important moments of this ceremony, which is the signing of the official Ontario Legislative Book by Her Excellency the Ambassador of the African Union to the United States. And so this is one of the major reasons you're here today to sign that book in recognition of this special day that will go to the national history and to Republic that this happened. And so we will want to welcome you to the official seat. So all the paparazzis, this is when we need you. Because this is an important one. They have to assemble from the media and all that. So please direct